Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to We the People. Today's subject, I'd kind of like to talk to you about, a little bit about helping out those that you know right now. As you all know, this has been one hell of a year. You know, people have lost their jobs, homes, finances are in ruin, and a lot of people are suffering from depression because of it. They weren't prepared. They were caught totally off guard. Now, uh, for instance, my former brother-in-law, and his wife, he's my brother-in-law from my first marriage, but they lost their jobs, lost their home, got evicted, and had no place to go. And rather than to see them in a shelter, I gave them my camper. I signed the title over to them. I gave them the camper. I've been letting them live in my driveway in this camper. They had to do a little remodeling to it, but it was an old camper. I'd planned on remodeling it, but they seemed like they needed it more than I would. So I gave it to them, and they've been living in my driveway now for 10, 11 months now, something like that. And I've been footing the bill for everything. They haven't had a job this whole time. His health had gone downhill. They're both suffering from depression because of everything this year. They were caught totally off guard. So I figured, I would want somebody to help me because I've been there. I've lost everything. If you've watched my videos from the past, you'd know that I was homeless in North Carolina living under a bridge. So I don't wish that on anybody. So I do what I can to help. But, how many of you have checked on friends that have lost their jobs or are falling on hard times or having trouble putting food on the table? The question is, has the world extinguished your light, or are you a beacon for those around you that your loved ones? Are you there for them when they need you? The signs of depression aren't always so noticeable. A lot of people put on a brave front. I know after my second wife passed away, when I was around other people, I put on a smile, tried to stay upbeat, and inside I was dying. There wasn't anything anybody could say to ease my pain. People that said that they would be there for me, they weren't anywhere to be found when I needed them. They were, I'd call them up, hey, can I come over? I need somebody to talk to. Well, I'm busy right now, or I've got this, or, just one excuse after another. People always say they'll be there, but rarely are. Are you that type of person? Has somebody called you up and said, hey, I need somebody to talk to, or hey, would you like to do something? A lot of times somebody asking you, hey, can we get together and do something? That's their way of asking, or telling you that they need somebody. And all too often people ignore that. They don't recognize the signs of depression. And by the time that they do, it's too late. I know this from experience from my first marriage. See, my first wife was my best friend's sister. And he'd warned me not to marry her, but I was a stubborn jackass and didn't listen. Big regret there. But anyhow, he was depressed, but didn't really let on that he was depressed. Well, he'd called me up a few times wanting to get together, go hang out, have a few beers, and I was so wrapped up in my own life that I didn't, really give it much thought. And I just told him, I can't. I'm busy. I've got this going on or that going on. I got to go to work. Well, I was at work one day working in a factory, and right around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call from my now ex-wife telling me, she was in tears. I mean, just breaking down, telling me that he'd killed himself, and that they'd found him out in the garage. He had filled a trash bag with the exhaust fumes from his car, sat down, in the chair out there, put the bag over his head, and suffocated himself. Well, he passed out, according to the coroner, from the exhaust fumes that were trapped in the bag, and then he wound up suffocating. But it, it hit me hard, because I mean, I'd known this guy for about 20 years. He was my best friend. We got into all sorts of trouble together. We drank together. We chased girls together. I mean, and he was 29 years old. And I ignored his pleas for help because I didn't recognize them. To this day, I still regret that the night before he killed himself, he'd called me up and wanted to go out. And I told him I had to work in the morning. I couldn't really go out, do anything, I really regret that, because that was his final plea for help. And I didn't recognize it. And because of that, his children, his wife, my ex-wife, and his entire family, everybody suffered from it, because nobody recognized his pleas for help. This is the time right now that we're in where we should be checking on each other, helping each other out. Call up your friends that that may have lost a job or suffered a loss, or whatever. If you know somebody that's right now that's on hard times, call them up. Say, hey, would you like to come over? Or, hey, can I come over? You wanna go out for a beer? I'm buying. Just the little things. You'd be surprised what can actually save a person's life. I mean, I'll be honest, after my second wife passed, there was a night where I was so depressed. I was on the verge of ending my own life, honestly. But a friend came over, just wanted to check on me, see how I was doing. When they got there, I guess they could read that I was in a bad place. And even though I didn't want to, this person got me to get out of the house, took me out, went to a bar, got me drunk, and because of spending time with that person, I didn't wind up ending my life. And I look back and I thank God that He'd sent that person to my home that night, because if He hadn't, I wouldn't be here. And my kids would be suffering because of what I would have done. My brothers and sisters, my mother, they all would have suffered. But see, you don't think about that when you're depressed. You're only thinking about how much you're hurting, and how you can't see a way out. But all it takes is just somebody to show that they care, and just be there. But I'm pretty sure that everybody here, everybody watching this video, knows somebody who's probably going through a depression right now. They may not show it, but if they're going through a hard time, say they lost their job, or they're this time with everything that's been going on, there's been a lot of divorce. Okay, you'd be surprised the toll that can take on a person. So if you know somebody that's going through a hard time right now, take a little time out. It's not going to hurt you. Take a little time, see how they're doing. Go over, visit with them. Take them out for a beer, invite them over. Sometimes, you invite them over to your home with your family, and you sit down for a meal. It can work a miracle. But what kind of person are you? Are you the person that cares about other people? Is your light still shining? Are you willing to go that little extra step to help somebody? I know this has been a serious video. I'm hoping that I can convince you all to take a little time and help somebody. It don't take much. It really don't. Unless, of course, you do it like I did and let people live off of you for the last year. I mean, I've been footing the bill. I gladly trade any one of you right now. My electric bill, it's about $1,200 for last month. So my water bill's about $350. So y'all are welcome to take my bills. I make decent money out on the road. It's not like it used to be. But my thing is, it's worth it because I'm helping somebody else. Whether or not they appreciate it or not, well, time will tell. But I don't ask them for anything in return. And that's all part of being there for somebody and helping somebody. If you're helping somebody because of what you can get out of it, then you're not helping that person to help them. You're helping them in hopes of them returning something to you. If you're helping somebody just to get something out of it, that's not letting the light shine. Not everybody's prepared for the bad times. I mean, that's why we prep, is so that when things get bad, we are able to withstand the storm. I mean, once I got back on my feet, I started prepping. I started stacking food and water. I make sure that I've got everything I need. Like, right now, if my power went out at my home, I've got 3 other ways that I can heat my house. Okay, I've got propane heat. I've got wood heat. And then I've got little, well, I guess it would still be propane heat because I've got some buddy heaters. I've got some kerosene heaters as well. So, I prepare for when things get bad so that I don't have to suffer. Now, we can't always be prepared mentally. Trust me on this. At the beginning of this year, I got into a bad place. My second oldest daughter, her daughter wasn't even 2 years old, and she passed away. She had aspirated on some food that she had thrown up in the middle of the night, and when they found her, she wasn't breathing, and anyhow, a few days later, she was declared brain dead. And this is the second grandchild that I've lost in the last 10 years. It's something that's very hard to deal with. And luckily, I have people around me that help me through these times. But if I didn't, I don't know if I could have handled the loss. You know, I mean, I'm probably giving you guys way too much information about me, but you know, if my life experiences, the tragedies in my life, can help somebody else, well, then why not share them? This is Dan with We the People Prepping. Spend a little time together with the ones you love, with your friends. Don't take it for granted. Help those in need. Be kind to one another. And I will talk to you later.